Hey there viewers, my name's Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS, not Sunday, but Thursday this week. Today we're going to be jumping back into Palentonga, trying our best to finally get through with one of our roly pals here. Had a bit of a rough go. We had such a promising first run. Even last Sunday, we had quite a few good starts, including the last run of the evening, in which we did pretty well and got some really lucky gifts from Orc Warrior. But, of course, dying is something that happens quite often in this game, and it's all part of the fun that we call Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. So, we're going to be back at it today, back in the grind, and trying our very best to finally get through with one of these buddies. And so, without further ado, let's get ready to hop into it. Quick hellos to Yev. Hey Brain, hey Ugly, and hey our 007 beer. Root beer, I guess? That would make sense. Took me a minute to parse the leet speak, but hello one and all. Hope you're all having fantastic days so far. Thank you so much for the hellos and for the good luck for root beer. Hopefully we can do a little bit better today. Feeling okay. I've got a couple of drinks here, my usual hydration, as well as the coffee this time. Maybe the caffeine will keep me alert, awake, and ready to roll here. But if we get ready to hop into it, try and transfer some of our good luck that we've had with our Coville cat here into a Palentonga run today. And I'm ready to jump right into it. As for how we want to start, eventually I should probably start switching up. I do feel like I play wizards better in general, but it can be hard a lot of the times to be fighting against terrible aptitudes in the early game. So I kind of want to keep going with the trajectory that we've been working on thus far, and I think I will give it at least one more attempt, maybe more, we'll see how it goes, with a more fighter style of play here. I guess warrior is the best way to put it, because that's the generalization for this entire category of backgrounds here. As for how we want to start, I'm a bit torn between monk or fighter. Monk is obviously really nice to get some early piety, but we don't have quite as solid of a starting equipment base, and who knows who will end up following. I'm definitely partial, if we're trying to go for a win here, to either going for Gozag or Okawaru, especially if we see an early altar from one of those two. Of course, with Gozag, a monk start, you lose out on some of those early advantages because Gozag doesn't care about your piety. It's all about his, or their central thesis of greed is good. So, I think maybe we will go with fighter, start with slightly heavier armor, slightly better equipment just in terms of a shield and a better weapon as well, and see if we can't get that rolling here. So let's try it out, and as per usual here, I'm probably going to go with flail or axes. I do love me my axes, especially since while we want to fight one-on-one in corridors as much as possible, it's not always an option, and it can be nice to have a little bit of cleave damage. So, just so I'm not stuck here in an infinite indecision, let's just go with axes. And it's easy to transfer between the two, of course, because the aptitudes are shared a bit, or rather not the aptitudes, but the experience that you put into those skills has a bit of cross-training. So who knows? We'll work with whatever the run hands us, but for now, start with axes. And for our name, I had a couple of ideas in our usual trend and theme here, and I think we'll start off with the roll side of things. We'll go with roll need. See how that goes. Hopping into the run, doing our usual routine, opening up skills, training exactly where we'd like here. We'll have shields training right away, so maybe this time around I'll subscribe to some of our earlier thoughts and even remove our shield so that our attack goes down from the 1.6, a pretty slow attack speed, to 1.4. Don't know how much it will help, but every little bit does matter, and that might prevent us from taking 2 hits on a turn, and instead just taking, 1 hit, then maybe 2 hits on a second turn as all of the aughts balance themselves out. But we, of course, will also get all of our auto pickup settings incorrectly here. And last but not least, shoot off a dump. open that up on my other monitor here, grab the game seed, just so that if any of you lovely folk want to play along at home, try your very best to get through the same runs that we're dealing with today. I'll be up on screen for you to do so. And with that, the new song just transitioned over on our playlist here. Let's do this. Hoping for some good luck today. Ooh, we heard 3 shouts, so it looks like we're potentially drawing a bit of a crowd. At least the first hobgoblin here has no weapons, so we should be able to handle that with relative ease, and indeed we did. And we're hoping for no early poison daggers. That was the unfortunate end of one of our runs, even though apparently just a regular dagger is going to take a decent chunk out of our hide here today. Onwards we go. Oh my gosh, I said no daggers of venom game. How dare you? Well, hopefully Real Need is able to do slightly better than some of their predecessors here. What version of the game? This is 0.27, so it's after all the melee changes were made, as well as some new enemies in certain areas of the game and stuff like that. See how we do, but don't screw me this time. Oh gosh, already halfway to lethally poisoned. Maybe I should have just taken my might potion, gotten that out of the way early. Here we go. And we're lethally poisoned. So, gonna hit level 2, but what a way to start off our day. Apparently 2 streams in a row here. We're going to immediately run into a dagger of venom. Oof, that hurts. But, hey, we could have drank the might potion. Don't know if we would have gotten it since we missed our first few attacks completely, unfortunately here. But these things happen. We will walk around at least once. Whoops and lol geez, indeed. Oh wow, a scroll of brand weapon. Isn't that nifty? Maybe we should have re-ID'd the very first scroll we picked up. But no, I think at the end of the day, sometimes luck will just hit you like that, but hey, it's the start of the run. We didn't really put any time or commitment into it. No problem whatsoever. Pop out of here, delete that name, and let's just reset. In fact, why don't we all just pretend that didn't even happen, right? Nobody saw that. And instead here, we're gonna try just a mere roll. Gonna roll greed this time. Let's go for it. And maybe, just maybe, we will find an early Gozag, who is definitely one of the DDs I'm most comfortable and confident with. But oh me, oh my. I feel like the game always likes to remind us, put us in a good headspace. Headspace rather. Hubris is the fall of all, and everyone knows that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. So, put us in our place right away, game. Let me know exactly what to expect here. We're ready to deal with anything, and be prepared for whatever the game has to throw at us. So, we'll do the exact same set of things here. Pull up yet another morgue here, grab that seed, and oh, this time it's not popping up easily for me, but I can go in here, edit the seed manually. There we go. And now this time, now this one, I'm feeling good about. It's gonna go so much better. I can just feel it in my bones. Maybe it's taking off the shield. I was tempting fate. They sensed my weakness, my lack of defense abilities, and they pounced. The monsters in the dungeon, they know what's up. They know exactly how to get right into our psyche. There we go. That's the kind of roll I wish we got against the last friend here. Ooh, getting just about surrounded. I mean, definitely slightly luckier with our rolls so far. Accidentally stepped into this friend, but that's fine. Let's turn the corner so that dart slug doesn't immediately start barraging us. And hey, level 2 without getting lethally poisoned. Isn't that awesome? Onwards and upwards. Not too bad here. Just a regular dagger. I can deal with that. I can handle that. Gladly. And we're hoping to, of course, run into some early, even heavier armor than the scale mail that the fighter start begins with. We are getting some nice hallway generations on this floor, able to deal with all these monsters without having to worry too much about the incoming crowds. And not too bad. My house is definitely a slightly weird temperature today, and I'm feeling the effects of my horrible circulation. I'm starting to feel a little bit shivery. It's probably the caffeine hitting as well. The mixture of the two causes my body temperatures to go all out of whack here. But that slight edge of uncomfortability will maybe put me in a good mind state for continuing on. I mean, we have been getting a lot of faded altars on D1 in these runs. Maybe I'm being punished for not going the zany route and immediately worshipping at a faded altar and seeing whatever we get from those. But I believe Orc Warrior or Ghost Egg are probably what we're going to go for today. Let's see how that goes. Hello, my endoplasm friend. Definitely getting luckier on our roll hits this time around. Can't complain too much there. Ooh, jackals, and we don't have too many hallways. Actually, there is one down here. It's kind of leading into unexplored territory, but I think still worth it to bring our pack down here. Ah, is that another pack? Hello, friends. Worm is slightly early here, but we can definitely start to fight it. We managed to kill it, but even if not, they're nice and slow, so we could have ran away to the stairs, of course. And with the fighter start, we get a lot of strength. So this time around, I think we will go with a little bit of dexterity off the bat, try and up our dodge chances and hit chances. And perfect. Again, the rolls are hitting this time, and I believe. Well, let's not walk towards the worm. We're going to employ all of the safe tricks in our book today, making sure we're playing optimally at all times, if we're able to at the very least. So always go back into explored territory, draw enemies away so that the noise of your combat doesn't immediately draw attention from every which way. We do manage to get a little bit surrounded, but by this stage in the run, we're able to deal with jackals and bats without too much trouble. As usual here, we will walk away from bats when they're a space away, just so that we try and ensure that they end up next to us on their turns. Not too bad. We're already past where we got on our first run, so we cheer and celebrate victories wherever they may fall. That is a win in my books, at least for today. Actually, so many jackal packs on this floor. Progress, indeed. Oh man, some enchanted boots that we unfortunately cannot take advantage of. They don't fit very well in our hooves, and besides, a pair of shoes? That's not going to be very useful for us. We need a couple of those at least. Let's see what the rest of the dungeon has to throw at us, and okay. Our first trickier encounter here, the first scorpion, is always a bit scary, and we know what happens when we get lethally poisoned. Unfortunately, we don't have great odds at running away. We have a few unidentified potions on us, so we could potentially get out of a bad situation. This is where we'd normally want to have found some poison darts, try and take advantage of the susceptibility to poison, but as is, in fact, let's go back to that. We have about a 50% chance to hit, 54, so we could just hope we get lucky here. And in fact, I think we will, since we're not close enough to any stairs to immediately retreat from this fight. I'm going to drink this potion of might. We're going to take all the opportunities we possibly can, and hopefully take this buddy out before we become lethally poisoned. Okay, we do, just barely. Even that first hit was absolutely brutal, taking us down to half health with the accumulation of poison. Surely it won't happen twice. And it did not. We're lucky this time around, but oh my gosh. More poison. Slightly better chances of hitting you, and we definitely can take you out a little bit more rapidly too. Let's draw you back into our safe space. Roll in, trying to get that kill. Nice. We get slightly increased accuracy on our rolls, so it is slightly greater odds of surviving our fight against two different adders, of course. Wouldn't expect anything different from the dungeon today. We've set precedent early. And Jessica is a similar boat in many ways. Doesn't have the poison, of course, but does have the ability to potentially lay down the hurt here with pain, and especially if she hastes herself. But she's pretty squishy. And with our roll, we don't have to worry about that blink taking her away from us here. Not too bad. It's a start. Apparently, even though I thought we were making a good call taking off the shield, we were just somehow jinxing our runs or something. The fates conspire against those who remove their shields too early. Hear a shout as we roll in here, so we can expect company, potentially. There you are, friend. Were you our shouty pal? Maybe, just maybe. It's funny, we always post our seed, but I'm not sure if people want to play this seed. It's looking pretty rough so far. Wand of Charming on a Jib. I actually don't know off the top of my head what a Charm Wand does to a playable character. Usually this buddy, it confuses us. There we go, we got our answer right there. But I find that usually a Jib has a damage wand of some kind, which can be frightening. Will is overpowered and we're even more confused. Classic. Stop, a Jib, I'm already charmed, oh my gosh. Might have to start drinking some potions here. And you emptied the entire wand at us. Wow, thanks friend. Alright, let's drink one potion, see what we get. We get heal wounds. So I was hoping for a curing to get rid of our confusion status, but even the heal helps. And we have another one of those in the back pocket if this continues to go poorly, but there we go. Managed to take out our second unique of the run, and this buddy has a +2 ringmail poison resistance. So let's avoid the mistakes of the past. We can immediately put that on, and ain't nobody's gonna be poisoning us in the early dungeon here. Not too bad. We, of course, because of the enchantment rating there, do get a little bit of extra AC too, which I'm not gonna complain about whatsoever. And so it goes. Still none of the early altars that we were hoping for, but that is a-okay. We'll see, maybe we'll get the Economical Temple soon. Maybe we'll find something worthy of our worship as well. And an adder shows up. I'm no longer afraid of you, but I will still take you upstairs, separate these fights just to play it extra safe here. And let's wait to see. We got the message that there is an ossuary somewhere on this floor. Sandy place of the undead. And there we go. We're waiting for the next message to pop up. And nice poison is rough early. You don't have to tell me twice. Definitely agree with the consensus there. Maybe this is our ossuary. We knew it was going to be relatively close to us, thanks to the message that we got, but looks like we never really wanted to go to that ossuary, so who even cares that we got shafted immediately and fell 2 floors. We will be running into some tough fights, including this one here. No cold resistance, can hit relatively hard. Not quite as bad as if we were playing on a caster or something like that, but we'll bring you back to our explored territory. Can use our heal wounds potion if necessary. We're still not 1 hit away from dead yet, so gonna try and stave off if possible, and perfect. Able to take that buddy out. Bullfrog zombie. You two can come to our hallway of destruction. And there we go. Get some stairs. A little bit risky taking an escape hatch, because who knows where we'll be dropped, but it's risky to explore D6 before getting the experience of the predecessing floors, so let's just head up. And nice, we do get a double stairway. I think I'm gonna lead this black bear on a wee bit of a merry chase. Ooh, I messed up with my movement patterns a little bit. I hate single pillars spread out like this because the AI will always be smarter than I give them credit for. Guess we might have to fight you. Hopefully you don't go berserk at an inopportune time. We do have that heal wounds potion. I guess we could check our paralysis chances, should be relatively good. Let's just play it safe. Paralyze the bear, try and take them out quickly here. We'll grab this scroll and then head up. The ossuary is still active, but this is no good. An iguana alone might be enough to take us out. An early water moccasin, even with our poison resistance, moves pretty quick, attacks pretty quick, does deal a decent amount of damage. So, before we completely retreat, let's do a quick check on our paralysis percentages here. Could go for an early paralysis. And in fact, let's take the iguana upstairs with us. Attack a couple times, see how it goes. As soon as we start hitting lower health, I will try to paralyze you real quick, heal up, and I think I will try and do the same to our moccasin friend. It is a nice amount of early experience. In fact, it gets us up to level 7, giving us our defensive curl ability. And dang, it does look like we were just on the cusp of finding the ossuary when we were pulled down. Maybe not. Huh. You just spawned on the same floor, hey? And in fact, we do see that it's very distant now. We got just a distant message when we were over on this side of the dungeon, so let's head back this way. I think I will heal up, even though it wastes some time. Oh, when we do find it, hopefully we're not too late. It'd be nice to get some early treasures here. And wow, even with our shafting, we managed to make it in time. Now we just have to survive this. Normally, we're not too scared of zombies, but I want to do a quick check on overall damages here. And we'll let them come to us, just in case we have to make a rapid escape. We did have trouble against just a single mummy, because they do hit pretty hard. We could try and paralyze them, though, if they get close. So let's do a quick check on that. We have a 46% chance. I'll take that. Bring these buddies in. Oops, don't want to roll. Want to throw. Had the wrong item quivered there. I do want to throw at the mummies themselves if we can. Okie dokie. Here's where we'll start the paralysis chain. Only should have to do it to 1. Almost regretted saying that immediately, but that worked out nicely. And here we go again, once more, into the breach. Nice. Slightly better off this time around. Let's do the same. We're slowly running out of paralysis charges. Can't keep this up forever, of course. Oh, especially if they resist 3 in a row. Remind me not to engage in any coin flips today. It's not going to go my way. This is a slightly sketchier setup here with a whole lot of early mummies. One, of course, we should be able to take on the old-fashioned way. In fact, this one we can add in a roll now that we don't have to worry about having retreat as an option. And we'll slowly but surely work our way through the place here. It at the very least is a nice batch of experience that we're picking up. And this time around, since we're already low health, let's go with early paralysis. 1 more. Perfect. And we can use our roll to immediately roll in and engage with the paralyzed mummy. Not too bad. Let's close that. Far more mummies than I'd like to find this early in the game. But hey, once again, if we are able to get through this in one piece, getting a whole lot of skill experience, managed to get another heal wounds potion, along with a lot of gold, another might, and 4 fizzy emerald potions. In my experience, so often, those do end up being degeneration when you find them in here, but hey, we might get lucky today. Maybe they're curing. That would be nice. And we're back to the regular scheduled programming here. I am very much surprised that we even managed to make it into the ossuary in the first place, with the unfortunate shafting that we were engaged in, but just barely managed to make it. Dagger of Venom, you don't scare me anymore. We were once afraid, but now we are free. Immediately roll and take them out. Of course, the one time it doesn't matter, we get lucky with our hits. These are the way that these things work, or this is the way these things work, I guess. The RNG does like to taunt. Okie dokie. Just dangerous. Necrophages, an early necrophage can be dangerous, but the nice thing about them is they are a whole lot of experience in the early game here. So if we're able to take them out, we can definitely try and roll that into a decent advantage here. And now that we're doing okay, let's go down to the next floor. We've managed to accumulate a decent number of scrolls. It's time to start re-IDing. Find a scroll of amnesia first, probably won't be making too much use of those. Teleport scroll, let's head back upstairs, let that take effect. In fact, let's go back to this safe stairwell. We do want to be on an unexplored floor, just in case we get magic mapping, something like that, could be handy. But there we go, our last stack of 3 was identify. Let's check out these fizzy potions. Ooh, not curing or degeneration. We got a whole bunch of haste out of that ossuary. Not too bad. We'll keep doing potions here. We're hoping to identify our curing as soon as possible. Berserk Rage might come in handy, for sure. Early leather armor here. Not quite going to cut it. We already innately have seen visible, thanks to our strong senses here. Still not too bad. It's nice to see artifacts early. Maybe we can turn that into something beautiful. But we'll identify one more potion stack, finally getting the curing, which means any future ID scrolls can immediately go through the rest of our scroll stacks here. And there we go, we get the Economical Temple. Let's see who we have. None of the people. There's Okawaru, who was one of our options that were preferred. I guess preferred options is probably the better way to put that. And no Gozag. So, we have a few different ideas here that pop up into my mind immediately. I know I started this session saying Okawaru or Gozag were my top picks. Okawaru is really nice for those gifts, especially trying to get an earlier barding than we otherwise might be able to find. But I do see Ash and Zari here, and we have had some decent luck with them. Usually, I think I would prefer the new Ash and Zari on a caster so that we can take advantage of all of the curse items, or options rather, that were attributed, or given, I guess. So, maybe we'll just go with the original game plan rather. We'll try Okawaru one more time. We got a decent showing last session here, and I feel like we can turn this into something beautiful. Will be quite a while before we begin to receive gifts from Okawaru, if just because we're not starting off as a monk this time around. But it's still worth it to pick up that buddy right away and hopefully manage to survive until our gift giving starts rolling in. Both an adder and a scorpion. Scorpion is still a little bit scary, but we should be able to take them out, especially with our poison resistance. We're in a slightly better position. Perfect. Okawaru is kind of funny because we almost want to run into some really strong enemies early here, because as long as we're able to defeat them, Okawaru will give much greater piety to kills that are way above your pay grade, as it were, much higher hit dice than you might otherwise be expected to beat. That's when we see the message that Okawaru is greatly honored by our kills. And we do want that piety ticking up as soon as possible. There we go, we get intelligence on our random roll. Again, we're slightly better off with our poison resistance against this moccasin here. Still kind of scary though. We don't have the paralysis to deal with it this time. We do have a decent selection of heals and emergency buttons for the early game. So we'll pop into mortal combat. Yeah, their poison is quite strong, so it does manage to squeak through our resistances. Let's pop upstairs to heal fully before dealing with this jelly. Don't want to get corroded into oblivion here. And there we go. All in all, not a horrible start. Managed to survive some of the unluckier situations we found early. Double adder is no problem now that poison isn't an issue. Perfect. Also get another scroll of identify nice and early here. So let's read that bad boy right away. Start chunking through our scrolls here. Early scroll of silence. Interesting. Now I'm very much wishing that we run into a strong caster unique. Again, if we hit something or manage to kill something that is quite strong relative to us, we will get a nice boost of not just experience, but PD as well. And with a Scroll of Silence, we are able to fight a spellcaster that might otherwise be problematic. And our first ogre. I wish you were completely alone, but if we run away a bit, the hound will come up ahead just because of their greater speed. Can head upstairs with this buddy. Oh, hey, there's the Go's Egg altar. Turns out they were on the same floor. I was also originally hoping here that we would take this hound upstairs, be able to head to a different stairwell, make it down at a safe distance from the ogre. I should have checked which stairway it was that we were going up, because as you can see, we have limited options. We do just have to head straight back down. We'll hopefully not immediately get smacked. Nice. Ogre still hadn't quite made it to the stairs. And now, I do probably want to fight you. We can't die in one hit, probably not even two here. And again, we do have slightly better consumables in our inventory here. So I think I will just engage. Immediately get smacked pretty hard. So next, we'll do a different kind of engaging here. And engage in a little bit of pillar dancing. Once we got this random energy, it does potentially change our plans here. We're going to start heading for this other stairwell. That way, instead of dancing around like this, we can instead just heal up to full, walk our way over to the other stairwell, and let's try and reset this fight, shall we? Maybe we'll roll slightly better this time around. Had to go through some unexplored territory in order to find this buddy again, but we got very lucky in not seeing too many scary opponents. Oh, you, sir. We finally get a good hit, but of course, so do they. So do we want to chunk our way through this? One of the ways that we could try and beat this ogre early on is a Berserk potion, but it does limit our ability to drink anything else if it goes poorly after that. So maybe instead, we'll take a few steps in the opposite direction here, hoping to either get a random energy once more, and there we go, we managed to this time around, or I was just hoping to heal up a little bit. And now, what do I wish to do? I might do another reset on the stairs, or we can just engage once more here. We're back to being a pretty safe 2 hits away from death, so we could drink a might potion with the turn that we've managed to get thanks to random energy here. Try and just hit hard enough a couple of times here to change the course of this fight. Hey, good luck tonight. Thank you so much, Kelly Commuter. Hope you're having a great evening as well. And I too am hoping we get some good luck tonight. We got it all out of the way with that first run, getting an immediate +2 dagger venom sent our way. This one's definitely going at least better than that. But let's do it. I'm going to drink the might. I'm going to take a couple swings here. Perfect. And that does actually get us up to the first pip of piety here. Able to cast Heroism. Not at great odds, but we still might want to pull that out in an emergency situation. It also means that before we head down to the next stairwell, let's maybe do a reassessment of our skills. We're down to a 1.2 attack speed, not quite as fast as I would like. A lot of the times in the past, I've gone for a more concentrated skill building algorithm here, where we can turn off everything except for axes, just trying to, as quick as possible, get that attack to at least once per 10 odds. As of late though, I have been favoring a well-rounded approach, trying to get our max health and our shield skill going up as well. But I'm curious if I want to take that another step further and immediately start training invocations. We definitely want to do it soon, start getting a good chance and good access to Okawaru's given abilities. Maybe we'll hold off just a bit longer, try and get that attack delay down, and then we will make some changes. I should probably wait for this jelly to come to me, bring them upstairs, play it safe, but I'm going to go for the roll attack. Unless we were truly unfortunate there. There wasn't too much danger. Ooh, our first Orc Wizard. Oh, and a Centaur came into view and popped out between our own turns there. So, you know what? I'm gonna change our strategy. We're gonna head down to a different stairwell that we immediately go down and get a marked status, hit an alarm trap. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. Bring the Ice Beast to me, head back upstairs. All of the enemies are gonna start heading towards that mark and that noise. So we'll instead head to our third stairwell, hoping for something slightly more manageable. It's also a nice distance away from there, so maybe we'll be able to resist running into all of the opponents that were drawn to the noise. Oh, water moccasin, you didn't quite notice me. I would like you to come my way. Ah, hello sir. Guess we'll be fighting you here then. If possible, we don't want to run away from a faster critter like that. They'll be taking pot shots as we retreat. Manage to take them out. Ring of Dexterity, I'll immediately switch my Resist Corrosion for that. Get a nice little boost to our stats here. Hello, my angel friend. Wish me luck. Ooh, and an early armor shop. The +3 Salamander hide armor. That's a fun little on-rand art here. Gives you double vulnerability to cold, so I do believe, unless things have been changed, you can only actually have one vulnerability to any element, but what this item does is makes it that much harder to get rid of that vulnerability, because you will have to equip 2 items on the other side of the spectrum. But that's okay. We don't really need it. We could go for the glowing buckler, see if we can get a good effect off of that. In fact, are these the only 2 shops in the area? So we won't be buying any spell books most likely, so let's spend some early money here. Check out what that buckler is. +2 buckler of protection. We are in desperate need of AC. Our shielding, I believe, will go down a bit. It does go down too, not quite as much thanks to the enchantment rating on the buckler, but our AC gets a nice early boost. So I'm very much happy with that. And while we're unlikely to get anything here, I will check some spellbooks. I was pretty sure Party Tricks here has Apportation. That's something that's pretty easy to train up and is a bit more relatively useful for all kinds of builds. Has a lot of utility, especially if there are any runes that we just want to snatch and then hightail it the heck out of there. If there's a really scary unique or something like that. So I might mark that for the future, though it's not something that will immediately drop everything to pick up. It's not an immediate advantage for ourselves here. And there we go. Now you notice me. Fortunately against centaurs, normally this would be a horrifying situation. Don't have any corners to turn, no doors to close. Thanks to our roll though, we can engage as quickly as possible and try and take them out before we get too many shots coming our way. We're back to our Orc Wizard pal. This time though, we won't be facing a centaur and you, so I'm happy to try it out. From those early Orc Wizards, we still have to worry about becoming confused, but at the very least, we're slightly safer because we don't have to worry about them turning themselves invisible, and we'll separate the priest from the pack here. Sir, come to my stairwell, please. I promise I'm not just trying to trick you into a scary situation. There we go. Just wanted to get them close enough to close the distance quickly. Those orc priests follow a similar trend to the early ranged centaurs, where we just want to be able to close as quickly as we possibly can, not take a bunch of damage on the approach. There we go, not too bad. I mean, despite having some very early bad luck, we have actually transitioned into a fairly fortuitous beginning. Hey, it's my favorite unique. Don't accidentally open the door, because if you weren't here in the last couple streams where I mentioned it, I try my very best to never kill poor old UF here. They're just living their best life, doing their thing in their house in the dungeon. It would be rude to take them out of it. So we'll leave that buddy alone for now, let him get some good sleep. It's the only sad part of the change that removed hammers from the game is now Crazy UF has a mace that usually spawns in his house, but it used to be hammers. So there used to be the standard joke of UF getting hammered in the dungeon. No longer, but that's okay. Just a fun little flavor mechanic. Early Acid Dragon, usually quite scary. We do at the very least have our ring of resistance to corrosion. So I think we will pop that on, switching off our protection from fire. And I'm gonna let you approach me. Still gonna take a decent amount of damage. It's still a pretty scary fight, but not nearly as bad as it normally would be without that resistance. Perfect. Our first Orc Warrior. Definitely don't want to be facing you while we're slightly under-healed here, so we will just beat a quick retreat path. Trying to think of which stairwell we want to lead you to. Holy Roller passed away. Unfortunately, they did. Trying to remember exactly how the events unfolded. I do believe it was another instance of my own mistakes leading to our demise, especially since Holy Roller was doing quite impressively with the early barding. But these things definitely happen, and we're ready to get back in it today. Performing slightly better, hopefully. Let's pop on Heroism right away. I think I can take you on. We attack slightly faster than once per turn, thanks to Heroism. We have a nice complement of potions at our disposal. Let's see if we can't get this fight started early. I don't like your friends coming to join the party. I did not agree to that. But we'll just pop around the corner. They'll take a few turns getting to us. Confusion is not something I'm willing to deal with. This is a slightly worse hallway we otherwise might like. I potentially should have actually stayed in this square, and then ideally it would have been Orc Warrior, Orc Wizard, the Priest would have been stuck behind. I guess the Priest never actually saw us, so we're at least safe in that regard. We didn't switch back to my Resist Fire Ring, unfortunately. We could still do it, waste a turn, or spend a turn rather, it wouldn't be a waste necessarily. But, you know what, I'm instead gonna lead you buddies on a bit of a merry jaunt. The wizard wants to take the first position. I'll happily deal with that. Re-engage our heroism. Perfect, managed to take out the Orc Warrior. At least they just had a hand axe. If it's an Orc Warrior with a really strong weapon, they're exceptionally scary with all the changes that were made in this version of the game, because that's where you're going to be dealing with heavy hits coming each and every turn. Or even a couple per turn, depending on the weapon and our own attack speed. Not too bad. Mace of Holy Wrath. I think I'm okay to just take you out. We could pick this up. In fact, we have an opportunity to get an early test of the Holy brand here. Relatively easy monster, but they are weak to Holy. So we could swap over, take a few hits. My intuition says that that probably wasn't too much better than we could have done with the axe, which makes sense. It is just a base mace with that Holy brand. But we'll keep that in the back of our mind and might as well hold on to it while we've got the inventory space. It's nice to have a few different tools at our disposal. Ooh. Hello, my two-headed friend. I really wish I had some Curari darts, something like that. We'll do a quick check. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps for you, 3 steps for you. Hoping that we don't get random energy, we can bring this orc upstairs, but let's head to a different stairwell here. Base mace to the face. That is how we were going there. We do see a troll immediately. So we have a two-headed ogre and we have a troll. Not the way that I would like it to go. So, fingers crossed that third time's the charm. We'll head to this stairwell. Maybe it's better? We do have our resist corrosion ring on, so I'm very much happy to face off against a bunch of jelly boys. Not too bad.